Alright, karibu tena katika channel yangu ya Mshana the Blacksmith. Tupo Fort Jackson. Fort Jackson ipo state ya South Carolina, ndio tulipo huko. Na I'm sorry kama sauti itonisikia vizuri kwa sababu tupo kwenye graduation ceremony na kama unavyoona watu ni wengi hapa. Kama uwanja wa mpira vile watu wanasubiri kuangalia mechi. Kwa hiyo I'm sorry kama sauti yangu haitosikika vizuri due to a lot of noise. Lakini ndipo hapa kwa ndugu yangu, rafiki yangu, mwanangu sana, Mtanzania mwenzetu, umeona? Mtanzania mwenzetu bwana. Mimi sijaje kukutana naye in person, sijaje kukutana naye live, lakini Mtanzania mwenzetu bwana. Amenifuatilia kabla haja Marekani, amefika Marekani, tunaongea, tunapeana ushauri, ananiomba ushauri kwa sana mambo kadhaa, umeona? Ukiwa unajua kitu chochote mfundishe na mwingine, ando maisha. Kwa hiyo kaniomba ushauri jinsi gani ya kujiunga na jeshi. Unajua maisha Marekani, unajua maisha Marekani yanapokuwa challenge. Watu ambao washasafiri kwenda abroad wanajua. Kwa hiyo kaomba ushauri jinsi gani ya kujiunga na jeshi, unaona? Kaingia jeshini, leo siku yake ana graduate. Umeona? I'm very proud of him. I'm very very super proud of him. Hata mwenyewe nimemwambia kwenye text na I'm very proud, na ndio maana nilipotoka mimi nipo stationiwa Georgia, hapa ni South Carolina, ni state mbili tofauti. Nimetoka Georgia, nimeendesha karibu masaa 3 na dakika 20 sijui kama hivyo kuja kwa ajili kumuona, kwa ajili nije kwenye graduation yake, kwa ajili nimpe pongezi yake in person. Umeona, kama Mtanzania mwenzetu, kama rafiki yangu useme, japo sijaje kukutana naye, simjui in person vile in details personally, lakini nimekuja kumsupport kwa sababu kafanya kitu, uamuzi mkubwa, uamuzi wa kujitolea, uamuzi ambao utabadilisha maisha yake na ushaanza kubadilisha maisha yake so far. So imagine ameingia tu jeshini, amepata rank ya E4. Kwa hiyo leo ana graduate na nipo hapa kwa ajili ya kuonyesha kwamba tumsubiri, tumuone, tuongee naye, tumuulize maswali, tumuulize jinsi gani basic combat training yake iliendaje. Mimi nimegraduate basic combat training tangu mwaka jana mwezi wa ngapi? Mwezi wa 5 ule, mwezi wa 6 tumemaliza basic combat training. Kitambo, sijui mwezi wa 4, sasa kitambo sana. So tupo hapo, utaona familia za watu wengi, utaona jinsi gani watu wanavyojiunga na jeshi Marekani ni wengi. Imagine hizi ni familia za watu ambao wamejiunga kwenye jeshi. Wamekuja kuangalia ndugu zao, rafiki zao, wapendwa wao, waume zao, watoto wao, kaka zao, dada zao wamejiunga na jeshi. Kwa hiyo wanakuja kuwapongeza katika graduation yao. Angalia hizi familia nyingi. Kwa hiyo utaona jeshi la Marekani watu wanajiunga kila mwaka ni wengi. Angalia magari.
All right, that was just a test drive because you know I'm going to ask more of that a little bit later. We're about 50 minutes away from graduation. If you look to the left and right, you'll see that we're relatively full this morning. We've still got plenty of people inbound. We've got 952 people graduating today. So that means, add 2 or 3 for family members. We got a pretty packed house.
952 people graduating today.
People, and you start to shift down to make room for some people who are still coming. If you think about where you've traveled from, everybody's traveled quite a distance to come and see their loved one graduate today. I'm just going to ask that you give a little bit of courtesy to the people who are still inbound. So I'm going to ask you to start shifting to make space for the people who are still coming in. So if you could do me that pleasure, I'd appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Amesema kuna watu wanajeshi wapya ambao wana graduate leo, ni wajeshi 952, right? 952. 952. Karibu 1000, wanajeshi karibu 1000 wana graduate leo tu. Imagine kila mwaka, kila baada ya miezi kadhaa, kila baada ya wiki 10 wanajeshi wapya wana graduate Marekani, na katika fort tofauti, karibu zipo 44 Marekani. Kuna Fort Sill, kuna Fort Jackson, ndio hapa tulipo, alafu kuna Fort Leonard Wood, alafu kuna Fort Moore. 44 au base 4 ambazo za mafunzo zimetengwa kwa ajili ya mafunzo. Base za mafunzo ya kijeshi na base za kustationiwa ni tofauti. Umeona? Hicho nataka uelewe. Hizi ni base hizi ni military base kwa ajili ya mafunzo tu ya kufunzwa kujikuwa mwanajeshi. Ukiwa ushakuwa mwanajeshi au uwezi kustationiwa hapa unless wewe ni drill sergeant au ni unafanya kazi mfanyakazi wa kusaidia mafunzo yaendelee kwa wanajeshi wapya, ndio unaweza kustationiwa hapa. Lakini kama so drill sergeant, so drill instructor, so nothing, hauwezi kuwa hapa. Umeona? Kwa hiyo zipo karibu 4 kama sikosi, nazozikumbuka mimi ni 4. Kama zipo zaidi ya 4 no, lakini nazojua mimi ni 4 kubwa. Kwa imagine kila mwaka watu wana graduate. Jeshi la Marekani watu wanavyo recruit ni wengi sana. Okay, let's wait for graduation to start. Alright guys, utaona wanajeshi ndio wanaanza kuja hao. Wana graduation wanaanza kuja. Nimeambiwa ni wapo karibu 952 hapo. Mbele hapo kiongozwa na bendi. Unaona hiyo bendi. Alafu nyuma huko ndo wanafunzi hao wamegraduate, wanajeshi wapya. Unaona hizo wanaenda wana march kwa formation. Hawatembei tu kama wamepotea njia hapo Kariakoo. Wana march kwa formation na utawaona wapo kwenye group. Kama utaona group la kwanza, group la pili, la tatu, la 4, hizo ni platoons kama watu hawajui. Kwa hapo tutaweza nikakwambia hiyo ni first platoon, second platoon, third platoon, fourth platoon, fifth platoon, platoon ya 6, platoon ya 7, ya 8, ya 9, ya 10, 11, 12 na bado wanatoka kule kwenye miti kule. Walikuwa nyuma ya miti kule. Utaona kiasi gani watu kila mwaka wana graduate, ni wanafunzi wengi wanakuwa wanajeshi wa Marekani. Kwa hiyo ukisikia watu wanajiunga jeshi la Marekani, watu wanajiunga wengi. Umeona? Na hizi fursa hazina limit ya muda. Wewe ukijisikia kuja Marekani kwa na kadi yako, kwa na mkazo wa kudumu hapo Marekani, kwa na vibali, umeona, umemaliza high school vizuri, una vigezo vyote unavyovitaka, hauna matatizo ya kiafya, hauna matatizo ya kiakili, hauna matatizo yoyote, kujiunga na jeshi milango ipo wazi Marekani. Hata unlike nchi zetu za Afrika, mpaka mjuane, uwe na baba yako, uwe na mjomba wako, usije chini na nani yako, usije chini ya kufungulia michongo. Huku una vibali vyako, umenyooka, umeenda shule, umemaliza high school, ndio kigezo cha chini high school. Umeona, ambao ni form 4 kwa Tanzania. Kwa Kenya pia ni form 4, umeona. Kwa huku Marekani pia ni wanaita high school, umeona. Maana huku Marekani wana elementary school, wana middle school, alafu na high school. So ukiwa na vigezo vyako kila kitu, jeshi milango yake unaingia kwa recruiter na kutengeneza vibali vyako kila kitu, unafanya asbabu yako, unajiunga na jeshi. Angalia watu kwa wengi. Na ile pale ndo platoon. Platoon zinakuja. Mimi nijua ndio ya mwisho. Platoon bado zinakuja bwana. Watu wanajeshi 952 wana graduate leo. Unaona hizi familia zote hapa zinawasubiri ndugu zao. Hizi familia unazoziona hapo zote. Hapo platoon hizo hapa zinaanza kukaa kwenye formation. Nimehesabu hizo platoon zinafika platoon 20 kwa haraka. Alafu angalia pale nyuma imeandika US.Army Training Center for Jackson. We make American soldiers. That's so beautiful. We make American soldiers. Yes, they are. Yes, they do. Make American soldiers. Angalia huo mnyororo. Oh yeah. Alright guys, mwisho siku wamewa consolidate, wameweka kwa pamoja. Tumepata platoon ngapi? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Platoon 5 hizo. Umeona? Wana march. Hiyo bendi. Alafu wanakuja hizo platoon zina march forward. Kwa watu ambao hawajui, kwa haraka niwaambie, jeshi la Marekani la Army limeanzishwa mwaka gani? Limeanzishwa mwaka 1775. 1775. I think it was June. I don't want to be wrong, lakini I think it's June 14 or June 15. Mwaka 1775. Ndo wanajeshi wetu wapya. Karibuni katika jeshi la Marekani. wanajeshi wapya, na mimi nilikuwa pale. I was there, I've done that. Nilishaikuwa hapo, nilishaikuwa mwanafunzi. Leo hii na mimi nimekaa hapa ni mwanajeshi rasmi ambaye nimekuja kumwangalia ndugu yangu tu akiwa kwenye graduation yake. Mimi tayari nishapita huko. Hii kitu tayari mimi nishaivuka zamani sana, lakini angalia, leo ni siku ya furaha sana kwa watu wengi, wanafamilia wanaokuja kuona ndugu zao ambao hawakuwaona ndani ya wiki karibu 11. Umeona? Unakuja kukutana na ndugu zako tena, unakuja kukutana na rafiki zako, kaka yako, dada yako, mume wako, mke wako. Angalia. Angalia wokao, wanyoka, heshima, discipline. Ukisikia discipline, hapa ndo unajifunza discipline. Angalia wanyoka. Nyinyi mnasema mtaka discipline katika maisha. Umeona? Alafu unacheza, unachelewa, unapotaka kwenda kazini unachelewa, una excuse kibao. Jeshi itakufundisha kutokuwa na excuse. Umeona? Nguo yako haijanyooka, umepaka tu. Angalia wanyoka. I love American. I love US.Army. I love US.Army. Angalia wanyoka. Cross on the boss, dress like dress. Broadway dressed. That's a PG. Platoon guy wanamuita. Ukimwona huyo ambaye amekaa mbele huyo hapo ni PG. Alafu yule pale ni drill sergeant. Kuna drill sergeant wa kiume na drill sergeant wa kike. Wale kofia ambayo imekaa kama cowboys. Drill sergeant. Drill sergeant wanatembea. Hao wanakusmoke kufanya ujinga, install discipline. Watakunyoosha. Ukiwa hauna heshima, hao wanakunyoosha hapo. Umeona waloshika basto, waloshika rifle, waloshika bendera wote ni drill sergeant. Ukiona una kofia hiyo za cowboy, hao ni drill sergeant. Wanakunyoosha hao. Ukiwa hauna discipline, watakunyoosha mpaka akili zitakukaa sawa. Umeona hapo nyoka. Wiki 10 za kufundishwa mafunzo kwa discipline. Hauwezi kuwa tu mwanajeshi ukajiita mwanajeshi kirahisi. Lazima uingie kwenye mafunzo. Umeona? I love the way they are so disciplined, man. Unakuja na nguo zako za kiraia, unakuja kama raia, unakuja na tabia zako za kiraia, unarudi nyumbani na discipline. That's how much. That's the thing you're gonna go home with after those 10 weeks.
Ladies and gentlemen, please silence all cell phones and other electronic devices for the duration of this ceremony. In consideration of those around you, we ask that you please remain seated and in the bleachers during the ceremony until all soldiers have passed the reviewing stand and the conclusion of the ceremony is announced. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Commanding General, Major General Darrell Hood, and the Post Command Sergeant Major, Command Sergeant Major Eric Oakes, welcome to the United States Army Training Center and Fort Jackson for the retirement review of one soldier and the graduations of companies A, B, C, D, and E from the 3rd Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment of the 193rd Infantry Brigade. Please stand for the invocation given by Chaplain Jason Seaman.
States Army. Thank you for the skills, knowledge, and experience they have gained here in these past 10 weeks, and for all the drill sergeants, command teams, and staff who have worked hard to provide them with the highest quality of training possible. I pray that you would richly bless all our cadre and their families as they continue to invest in the future of our Army. Thank you also for the family and friends who have provided these graduates with love and support that has seen them through to this day, and for those who are able to be here to celebrate with them. As these new soldiers graduate and leave here to begin the next phase of their Army training career, I ask that you watch over and guide each one of them. Grant them courageous hearts, wise minds, and will to do what is always right. May they always serve with honor and integrity and learn to thrive even in the most difficult of circumstances. Ask now that your divine presence and blessing would be upon this ceremony and upon all that are here today. Amen.
Amen.
Please be seated. The purpose of today's ceremony is to recognize the commitment of the men and women you see here who have chosen to serve their country as soldiers. This review is the last official formation in the careers of one lifelong soldier and for our newest soldiers. Not everyone successfully completes this difficult period of training. Far fewer are able to accept the challenges and difficulties that come with the life of a career soldier.
Yes.
But those in formation today represent disciplined, motivated, physically fit soldiers who exemplify the Army's 7 core values. Loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. They are imbued with the warrior ethos and display the tenets of putting the mission first, never accepting defeat, never quitting, and never leaving behind a fallen comrade. This is an important day, and these soldiers can take great pride in their accomplishments. To the parents, families, and friends of these soldiers, Fort Jackson extends a very warm and sincere welcome. We are justifiably proud of our retirees' lifelong dedication to our nation and are truly honored that the next generation standing on this field have chosen to join our ranks. Please direct your attention to the left of the formation. The units marching today from your left to right are the 282nd Army Band under the command of Sergeant First Class Matthew Johnston. Graduating soldiers from Companies A, B, the Battalion Color Guard, and graduating soldiers from Companies C, D, and E. Identified by their distinctive headgear are the drill sergeants. These dedicated non-commissioned officers form the backbone of the Army Training Center system, selected based on years of professional competence, leadership, and years of service. These men and women undergo intensive training to earn the right to wear their distinctive hat and insignia. With the drill sergeant hat goes the important responsibility of molding civilian men and women into soldiers. The commander of troops for today's ceremony is Major Andrew Willett, who serves as the executive officer for the 3rd Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment. He and the battalion staff are positioned on the field. The reviewing officer for today's graduation is the commander of the 3rd Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment, Lieutenant Colonel Audrey Hurdle. On her left is Command Sergeant Major Edward Deal, the battalion's senior non-commissioned officer, master trainer, and principal advisor to the commander. The commander of troops will now bring forward the colors and persons to be honored. Competence and commitment are the hallmarks of professionalism. The soldiers and drill sergeants coming forward will be recognized for their excellence in training and duty performance and serve as examples to all. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of the national anthem. It is appropriate for soldiers in uniform and all armed forces veterans to salute the American flag. We ask our civilian guests to please remove your headgear and place your right hand over your heart as our national anthem is played. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, you are about to witness the retirement of a lifelong soldier. All soldiers begin their journey by graduating from basic combat training. Over the years, there have been changes to how the Army conducts basic training. However, many things remain the same. It was during basic training that this soldier was first introduced to the Army values. It is where they learned the importance of teamwork and that the Army is truly a family. That sense of team and Army family is still embedded in what is done here today. Over 20 years ago, this soldier took the same oath to defend this nation that your loved ones on the field have taken. We salute this great soldier as he passes the torch of freedom along to the newest generation of soldiers, your loved ones standing on the field today. A certificate of appreciation from the President of the United States will be presented to those retiring today. It reads, "I extend to you my personal thanks and the sincere appreciation of our grateful nation for your contribution of honorable service to our country. You have helped maintain the security of the nation during critical times in its history with a devotion to duty and a spirit of sacrifice in keeping with the proud traditions of the military service. I trust that in the coming years you will maintain an active interest in the armed forces and the purpose for which you serve. Those who follow in your footsteps will draw inspiration from your commitment, dedication, and sacrifices made to ensure the protection of our American freedoms. My best wishes to you for happiness and success in the future." A certificate of retirement from the Chief of Staff, United States Army, is also presented to those retiring today. At this time, Colonel Hutton and Command Sergeant Major Oakes will recognize our retiree for their service to the United States Army. Lieutenant Colonel Robert Howley, having served honorably for 20 years of service, is placed on the retirement list effective 30 November 2025. Lieutenant Colonel Howley entered active duty in Fort Sam Houston, Texas, and will reside in Columbia, South Carolina upon retirement. His fondest professional achievement was publishing research that was used in a congressional hearing that resulted in the Defense Health Agency adopting direct access to physical therapy across all military branches. The nation salutes. Robert Hawley, Lieutenant Colonel, United States Army, retired. Please join me in a round of applause for our retiree and their families. Although newly retired, they will always be a part of our Army family. The Drill Sergeant campaign hat and badge have been a stoic symbol of professionalism and pride since 1962. At this time, the outstanding Drill Sergeant of the cycle will recite the Drill Sergeant's Creed. We ask that all Drill Sergeants, past and present, please stand for the reciting of the Drill Sergeant Creed.
I am a drill sergeant. I will assist each individual in their efforts to become a highly motivated, well-disciplined, physically and mentally fit soldier, capable of defeating any enemy on today's modern battlefield. I will instill pride in all our trades, pride in self, in the Army, and the country. I will insist that each soldier meets and maintains the Army standard, military bearing, and courtesy, consistent with the highest traditions of the U.S. Army. I will lead by example, never requiring soldiers to attempt any task I would not do myself. But first, last, and always, I'm an American soldier, sworn to defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, both foreign and domestic. I am a drill sergeant. This will defend.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Colonel Hurdle and Command Sergeant Major Deal will now present the award. The outstanding Drill Sergeant of the Cycle for the 3rd Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment is Drill Sergeant Justin Fuller from Greensboro, North Carolina.
Commanders and Command Sergeants Major, distinguished guests, families, and friends of the 3rd Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment. Welcome, and thank you for joining us today in honoring the accomplishments of the Basic Training Class 2502. On behalf of the U.S. Army Training Center and Fort Jackson Commanding General, Major General Hood, and the U.S. Army Training Center and Fort Jackson Command Sergeant Major Oaks, welcome to Fort Jackson, where we make American soldiers. As you may have noticed when you arrived at Fort Jackson, signs along the way state that we make American soldiers. Here at Fort Jackson, we produce over 50% of the Army's throughput of basic combat trainees annually. Last year alone, Fort Jackson processed and trained over 42,000 civilians who successfully transitioned into U.S. soldiers. As the "we" in that statement implies, it is, indeed, a team effort to produce the finest quality of soldier that this country demands. I'd like to take a few minutes to recognize those involved. I would like to thank the 282nd Band. As always, y'all sound great. You consistently provide that touch of class and distinction to all these important ceremonies. I ask that all of you join me in a round of applause for the distinguished soldiers in the band. Since 1917, Fort Jackson has helped forge America's warrior class as it transforms civilians into disciplined, physically fit, proficient members of a team ready to fight and win our nation's wars. Today, it serves as the Army's premier training center and the largest makers of American soldiers. These soldiers, regardless of the changes of technology, tactics, strategies employed, remain the one constant of war and conflict. As such, the Army prides itself on being in the people business, and the commandos and the rest of Team Jackson are in the business of producing and developing the best people to serve as our soldiers, non-commissioned officers, and commissioned officers. I'm extremely proud to be a part of that mission, and I promise you that our future is in capable hands with the soldiers that you see standing before you on the field. They are our mission, and our mission is critical. With these soldiers assembled on the field, arrived here in February, many of them quickly realized that this might be the greatest challenge of their lives. Out of the 1,040 civilians that started, 952 soldiers met the challenge and stand before you today. Here are some interesting facts about this class. They are indeed a diverse group. The youngest soldier on the field is 17. The oldest is 44. They come from 45 different states and territories, 26 different countries, and speak 14 different languages. Many soldiers in this formation have college degrees. 39 have their associate's degree, 56 have their bachelor's, 11 have their master's, and even 2 have a PhD.
Damn, well, we don't have PhD.
4 soldiers have crossed over from a sister service. And to you all, let me be the first to welcome you to the greatest branch of the service, the United States Army. 4 soldiers were former non-commissioned officers and decided to volunteer once again. And to you, we say welcome back. Lastly, we welcome 122 newly naturalized United States citizens.
Kuna watu wapata citizenship 100 and something. Watu 100 na.
Thank you for your continued commitment to this great nation. Despite their unique differences and diverse backgrounds, what unites them all is that each one of these soldiers has raised his or her right hand and sworn an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. Please recognize these soldiers before us.
Mwana wa Marekani wanavyoheshimu wanajeshi wao hadi raha. Marekani wanawaheshimu sana wanajeshi wao. Kama wanajeshi Marekani wanatukuzwa.
As we are a free nation because of the sacrifices of American service members who have fought for and continue to fight for our freedoms. Will the veterans and the retirees in the stands please stand to be recognized?
Hao ni veteran, watu ambao wamestaafu jeshini. They are veterans.
To the soldiers on the field, you are now a part of their legacy, and I know you will do your best to honor and uphold that legacy throughout your time in service. Our regiment's history is rich, having participated in the battles of Hayes Bluff, Champion Hill, Black River, and on 19 May 1863, the regiment took part in the assault at Vicksburg, earning its motto, First at Vicksburg, becoming the only Union unit to plant its colors in the Confederate positions. We are proud of this history and to serve in its distinguished lineage. These soldiers in front of you today will later serve in other units with their own unique history and future story that they will one day be proudly a part of. Not unlike their predecessors, these soldiers have begun their journey of service to our nation and will contribute to the history that is not yet written. Their personal history began when they arrived here 10 weeks ago. The beginning of their training was about discipline, fitness, and confidence, becoming a soldier. They conducted countless inspections. They learned how to march and challenge themselves to improve their physical and mental fitness. Shortly thereafter, they gained trust in their military equipment by wearing their chemical protective mask in our gas chamber and learning how to accurately fire their weapons at varying distances and under stress. They gained confidence in their training, their leaders, and once again in themselves. Each completed a series of challenging yet critical Army tasks, testing their mettle and adaptability and becoming proficient in warrior tasks. They gained mental fortitude and toughness daily through physical fitness and by marching great distances under heavy loads. These tests of grit and discipline showed them the importance of recognizing your role as a member of a team and the importance of taking care of each other, because one day you all might have to. While they leaned on each other, they were led by their amazing drill sergeants. This group of hand-selected and elite experts represent the Army, the best the Army has to offer, and to train our soldiers. They serve many long days and nights, sacrificing much, but doing it out of pride and with a sense of purpose. Cycle after cycle, they arrive before the trainees wake up and depart after they only bed down. Almost all present here today, in the stands and on the field, will forget my name and will most certainly forget these remarks, but none, not one, will forget their drill sergeants. They and the rest of the 313 team know these soldiers are our legacy and must be ready to continue our mission long after we're gone. Soldiers, you've met the call to service and sacrifice that many in our country are unwilling or unable to do. Less than 1% of Americans elect to serve in the United States military, making you an elite part of the few that are willing to commit the last full measure of devotion to our service and to our nation. Take pride in that profession. Always remember you are part of a great team of fellow soldiers, serving in defense of freedom across the world. You've met the standard, and you are ready to learn your chosen crafts. While your victories may have started here, do not let them end here. Our country needs you trained and ready for any situation. Finally, remember that the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. Remain vigilant as you go off into our Army and accomplish your missions. Each is important to the success of our Army, our nation, and our very way of life. To our extended Army families, thank you again for your attendance and your tremendous support to our soldiers and the nation. Please continue to help support your new soldiers. They have become something different, something better than they once were before. They are now part of the greatest Army in the world and will forever be a part of our legacy. 40 rounds, no ground to give, and victory!
Whoa! That was really good. That was really beautiful. That was really beautiful. I love that.
Today's soldier is above all a warrior, adaptive, confident, and competent. As a soldier, you are totally committed to the warrior ethos, grounded in Army values, and determined to destroy the enemies of the United States of America and her allies. The United States Army's Soldier's Creed embodies this commitment. To the soldiers on the field, the uniform you wear at this moment is more than an outward display of your vocational choice. Your uniform is a symbol of a nation and an unspoken assurance to all who see you that you are a willing and able prosecutor, protector of the freedoms fought so arduously for by all who have gone before and those who will bravely come after. You have become what you set out to be, a soldier in the United States Army. The Soldier's Creed is your declaration of your unshakable commitment to the ideals this nation was founded upon and will continue to guarantee. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as Private First Class Rude presents a certificate of appreciation to the retiree and leads the soldier standing before you through the reciting of the Soldier's Creed.
And leave the armed fathers. I'll always place the nation first. I'll never accept defeat. I'll never quit. I'll never leave a fallen comrade. I'm disciplined, physical and mental tough. Training professional, warrior task and purpose. I'll always maintain my arms, my equipment, and myself. I'll always remain professional. I stand ready to blow, engage, and destroy the enemy of the United States of America in close combat. I'm the kind of figure, an American way of life. I'm really a soldier. Oh.
Please be seated.
Nice. That's the Soldier's Creed.
The 282nd Army Band is commanded by Sergeant First Class Matthew Johnston. The drum major is Sergeant First Class Corey Walton. Company A is commanded by Captain Jamie Chisholm. First platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Elliot Pierce. Second platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Jasmine Williams and is trained by Drill Sergeant Ava Walter. Third platoon, Second